for my lovely 5D mystic spiritual community. Let's chit chat about the feminine and masculine, how they complement each other and harmonize to expand consciousness. So when you're in our lovely 5D collective, it means that you are able to live a spiritual and mindful life, and also that you are able to contain, because otherwise you don't have that relationship with your own feminine yet, contain emotions, and you actively enjoy emotions. So emotional maturity, mental maturity, these are practices that you actively do in many and different ways, and you don't talk about them as laundry. The Zen master who talks about them as laundry is a person who's using a word, yucky emotions, they hurt me deeply. And everyone has their window of welcome or tolerance, okay? So we have a window of welcome, the 5D collective, to our emotional, mental, and physical plane. And that is where it is a choice, and it is one that somebody might make or might not make, meaning, I want to do personal development, self-help. I want life now, okay? So that's, I don't want this. I like the Zen master that tells me about laundry. Good. Okay, so 5D mystic spiritual, we're here where we say, okay, anyone who doesn't want to do emotions yet, this depth that we live, they're out with therapists, they're out with other people, they're doing other things. So I will always be using my words. They're food for thought from this 5D mystic spiritual enlightenment soul age group feminine, okay? I don't make up the rules, meaning the only ones who want linearity, they're the same ones that are navigating as a masculine. They're left mode. The only people who don't understand this, they're the same people who won't be here. The ones of you who do, you'll understand this because you have a left and a right. And so you know how to sit with A, B, C, D, F, G, all that is unknown, uncertain, unexpected, and have fun with it. That's why a feminine doesn't get lost, because we're not afraid of the darkness of the unknown and unwanted and all of that. Okay, so I am going to be sharing as a mystic and things that take place when your clairs are active. They're not confusing. They're also not ego, death, or dark night of the soul. Again, there's depth of emotion and a lot of it, and you'll know it as it's happening. You will be in a dark cave, you'll be falling. These are different visuals that I got to get. And actively, your relationship is with this lovely feminine. You can call it God, you can call it source, you can call it universe, you can call it consciousness, call it intelligence. I call it essence of love and life, and all of it and none of it, because it can be dark matter and dark energy. I'm actively a star like you are. I actively will return to being dust or whatever it is. So all comes together for the 5D collective. Science is spiritual, spirituality here, and just in general, your brain actively knows it's expanding. It's amazing. Oh, it's amazing. The expansion of consciousness. So let me read a little bit more to you. The 5D collective, they learn how to wield the ascension energies by applying spiritual self-help, mindfulness, mindsight, and mindset practices. Those of you who are here, welcome aboard. You don't have to be mystic, of course, you know that, and we're okay with being called woo-woo, spiritual, pseudoscience. You even can say bullshit and crap. I laugh. Because that's what it's called, to be a confident human being, and to also know subjective reality and not be offended by it or threatened by it or any of that, which a masculine, on the other hand, again. So I have fun, just like Krishna Lila, when exploring the depths of the profound with playfulness. And if I'm pissing my pants, I know who to take it up with. And I can, and then I don't, and then I laugh, and then I keep on going. And that's it. I don't actively say, I'm right, I'm going to prove it. Okay, so that's where the masculines, they get in their ego. It's unfortunate business because they slow down where they could be. But that's the part of where the shame button. They have a buttload of people who keep on telling them how to shame each other. So they do that. And actively the left mode is egoic, is how I'm going to put it. Not bad. It actively serves you. But it comes online the year after. First year of life is your right mode, but anyways, that doesn't even matter, because the reality is we have two sets of energies for a reason, and they complement. So let me just finish reading. With your whole self and energetic body and awareness, your masculine gives you the energy to do. That's how I'm translating it, and the wisdom of the mind. So you have integration of the brain, though, because otherwise you're not going to be wielding what is, I call this the masculine, this the feminine. So the left, because it's linear, breaks things down, wants to know things in a good way, and it uses words to express itself. The right uses feelings because that's where it's feelings. There's no words. It's nonverbal. It's sensations. And so that's why, and so divine feminine, again, divine masculine, how I organize these words when we're doing mindfulness, mindsight, and mindset stuff. Mindsight is different than mindset because with Dr. Daniel Siegel, I got to learn how to apply it. And it's when you're sifting inside images, sensations, all of your stuff, and you can contain it. So that's why you can put it into practice and deal with it without destabilization. You know how to calibrate your nervous system. It's once you have self-regulation capacity and you have the emotional plane and yourself in the forefront that you can be yourself, that you are your own feminine and masculine, and that you can actively expand your clairs, by the way, without getting lost on those Elsa journey mantles, the 3D, 4D. So your feminine gives you the energy to be, wisdom of the body, to be. So masculine to do, feminine to be, and all different people have different ways they share this stuff with you, okay? You wield your potential to create inner and outer well-being in your everyday life and relationships. So we have emotionally mature relationships, mentally mature relationships. You experience true love, bliss, delight, and consistent enlightenment in mind, heart, and body. Every 24 hours you are gifted. Love is a constant, unconditional, and present when you are yourself. That is actively what you are when you are in the 5D. That I heard this term a long time ago, and the term meant and still does Christ consciousness, and that forgiveness that Jesus taught me is what anyone can do once they have reclaimed their inner child and chosen to forgive unresolved trauma and shame cycles and to disengage completely from shaming and casting that stone. So masculines, they actively have a challenging time when it comes to being presented with somebody who knows more than they do and who does more than they do, which is why then they get lost. So here's what happens to a feminine, let me organize, that knows she's expanding consciousness when we meet any and all of those masculines who choose the shame, the fear, the ego, and the disconnect from their inner child to bring that adult to the forefront, okay? Now, they don't choose consciously if they're not aware of their trauma stuff. So what I mean to say is that all people that are narrow states of consciousness, when I'm encountering a Cusco, I know who they are because they're going to begin to get unfun. And I can enjoy the conversation. It's not going to be intellectually stimulating, not going to be emotionally empowering, and not going to be anything except for me dealing with another teenager because I dealt with them as a teenager and I actively knew how I chose to deal with them, which is I'm going to be with my own integrity, stand here and present what I want to be with you, not what you are being with me. So being able to stand your ground is called heart, body, value, body. You make mistakes like anybody else, but you take ownership. When you take ownership, that's why you're empowered. And that's why a person who doesn't know how to consistently take ownership will feel, quote unquote, threatened. And that's the minute that they enter into this little competition dance with that left mode, because their right isn't playing friends equally and saying we're all different. Nobody's better. Nobody's not better. You see what shame does? So shame has people doing this little competition dance in a way of feeling, not in the way of the words, which is why feminine is different. I don't compete with you. I am Maria. I want to be Maria. I don't want to be you. I don't understand what's going on. Aren't we all supposed to be our unique selves as teenagers grow up, right? I want to be me. I want to be me. I want to be accepted. Okay. So once you have seen, soothed, you are safe and secure to be yourself. You're quirky. You don't give a shit if somebody doesn't like you. You actively don't take it personally. In the time you grow up, you meet people that will welcome you for who you are. That's how you make a relationships. One. You continue to be who you are. You continue to be so for me, the feminine who's sharing with you all. Okay, so when we meet masculines, it's all of them. They can have clairs. They're not a feminine. They don't know Jesus. They don't know love. They know the squirrel from Cusco land. I've seen it. It's quite, again, none of my business. So the example I'm going to use is Sadhguru got to be Sadhguru because he saw an 85-year-old man beat him at swimming. That's what a feminine will say, not impressive, Sadhguru, not impressed. But you are masculine, so I get it. It's kind of like the locker room shit. Yeah, not fun. I don't like gender stereotypes. They actively dumb down human beings, but, there are those who will perpetuate them, so we leave it alone. But I share with you my opinion. I don't believe anyone is dumb. But then again, the left mode is dumb by itself. and actively thinks it doesn't have feelings. It actively shuts down the right. And the right is shut down because they initially will they don't work together until you are integrating your brain. So there is a mechanism for your brain. Dr. Daniel Siegel taught it to me. And I was like, okay, that makes sense, because I remember learning how to use my prefrontal cortex and getting out of the limbic system with the oceans, the depths of the ocean. It was when I was with my lovely twin flame one dealing with things, and we actively had, and still do, we have different ideas, but our different ideas ended up complementing and coming together because I'm a person who isn't picky. I am selective picky, but I'm not picky in the sense of your behavior is yours. So you will share with me and show me who you are as we get to know each other. I'm a consistency because I already know who I am. And so a feminine is not threatened by somebody who has a different way of communicating, a different way of believing, a different way of thinking, again, a different way of da-da-da-da-da. So anyone who's different, you're different. And that's why I kept on harmonizing, and then I got to have Twin Flame 2 and Twin Flame 3, and then I got soulmates, and then I began to become familiar with my clairs and with all of my oversoul, and that is really empowering. So by Twin Flame 3, I knew I'm still learning stuff, and I'm actively going to get to learn a lot from this entirety because I got a double whammy, if you will, because no one talks to you about having more than one Twin Flame until you find the wise people who do. We won't get into that one right now because the reality is that because now it's a trending topic, people don't actively, I'm going to leave it alone. So feminine, again, you have energetic feminine, energetic masculine, and then you will know which one you are. And the feminine does have the clairs in a way of feelings and unconditional love and not ego. Masculine, and it's not gender specific. It's not at all. The masculine will have the capacity to also channel, but they're a lot more practical because they use that left mode. So they are going to be structured, which means that they're going to set down ground rules first, which means they're going to be picky, not selective from the gut and the heart, which is why they get lost with the wrong people sometimes. Because they're actively not using the most important tool, but they don't know how to yet because they haven't. As long as you have not claimed the entirety of you, which means your inner child adult. Today I can use those words because I finally know what the self is with the attachment trauma. So if you have not claimed your first year of life and your first 3, and you have not claimed yourself, you see, you soothe, you safe, you secure. Somebody said you're a bitch, you're a whore, you're a fucking asshole. You say, nice to meet you. Bye, I'm going to go. I'm pretty sure you don't like me. And I'm not kidding. It's not because you enjoy that. I'm saying in here, you're like, wow, okay. I'm not really, you question with awareness. You're like, did I do something? But if you're sitting somewhere, you're just randomly sitting, somebody comes up to you. Or let's just do it this way. You say, hey, guess what? I'm a mystic. Hey, guess what? I'm polyamory. Anyways, those are fun ways to, we don't test people out, but we do let them know who we are, and you don't know what you're going to get. I'm not kidding. So I don't know how people can react or respond or interact, but I know that typically I'm in an environment that is safe, so they won't physically beat me up. And actively, though, by the way, I definitely know that we have people who get beat up, which is sad, right? So having people that can support us and protect us and stay safe together is something that we do. We don't have to be unbridled self-expression. So what I'm saying is I actively express something. Who knows? For all I know, one day I could find myself in a situation. If I'm by myself, I'm fucked. I'm a 4'9" woman. It's okay. Hopefully I'll live, but we don't want that. So long story short, you surround yourself though with people. I usually go out with people that I know have my back. And that they actually have my back, not the liars. There are liars. But I learned how to observe, and I learned how to notice. And that's because of knowing the ones that don't have your back. It is what it is. We all know that as adolescents we learn. And that is unfortunate business for those who grow up and they stay in their unfinished business. But when you meet the masculines who complement you, the feminine gets to learn and gets to keep on learning. And actively, when they're harmonized with their feminine, then we know we have an active masculine who's a protector and the feminine is the nurturer. And so with clairs, both taking each other seriously, because we're all intuitive, and neither getting in the ego of you know more than me, I know more than you, because there's actively no competition from that space. There's a harmonization of we're here to support our herd, and in this case our human herd, to expand consciousness, to evolve, to save our environment. We are all ordinary. Nobody needs to be wearing those mantles. When you see the people talking about power couples, they are wearing a mantle. You're not a power couple if you need to basically state it. And a person who knows what power means, it's not a word. It's an embodiment. And it's an embodiment of love. And it's an embodiment of equanimity. And it's an embodiment of integrity. And it's an embodiment of subjective reality, knowing how to use your word and words with people who are different. And it means you don't look up and you don't look down. You look straight at with healthy self-worth. You love, accept, and respect people who are different from you. This is what it means to be humble. And any human being who knows this, they will be a feminine with a masculine. And if they come from masculine, they will know, like I will know. Like, again, the fact that an 85-year-old man is what motivated Sadhguru to do what he did is not impressive for feminine. But a masculine will call a feminine stupid because we go with our feelings first. And sometimes we can end up in a big ditch and a hole. I'm just saying that's the part of why we compliment. Because if I'm on the ground looking and I'm following a scent, but I actively don't know if that scent is good or bad, I can fall in a hole, you know? So again, it's not examples we have to use, but that is what life throws at us things. And as a feminine, I've consistently been aware as I got my clairs and as I got my oversoul, all of the masculines, I got to become more and more aware of how they complement me with the good and bad. So they're not bad because they're bad, but they're not whole. So that means that they behave basically like a Cusco, but that again is not something that I'm 44. I was a teenager like anybody else. I still see them. They're the same. Not impressed. I wasn't impressed, which is why I didn't look to be adequate for them. I chose my herd, and I was happy, and I'm still happy with my herd, actively. So once you get to know people, you get to figure out where they're at with their emotional maturity, mental maturity, and then you keep on deepening the relationships, and the masculines are there too. So there's good and good. The ones that are, again, bad, they're not bad, they're incomplete. They can use good therapy, get their feminine online, the ones with or without clairs, and then to join us on harmonizing our lovely 5D collective as we move forward with unconditional love, flaws, imperfections, but integrity. So we'll be back with more. Have a good one.